On the Waterfront is a 1954 American crime drama film directed by Elia Kazan and written by Bud Schoolberg. The black and white film was inspired by Crime on the Waterfront by Malcolm Johnson, a series of articles published in November-December 1948 in the New York Sun, which won the 1949 Pulitzer Prize for local reporting. But the screenplay by Bud Schoolberg is directly based on his own original story. The film focuses on union violence and corruption amongst dock workers, while detailing widespread corruption, extortion, and racketeering on the waterfronts of Hoboken, New Jersey, and about one man's struggle with his conscience to do the right thing. Terry Malloy, played by Marlon Brando, is a former prize fighter whose career was cut short when he purposely lost a fight at the request of local mob boss Johnny Friendly. Terry now works for Friendly's labor union as a dock worker, while his older, more educated brother Charlie is Friendly's right-hand man. One day, Terry is coerced into luring fellow worker Joey Doyle onto a rooftop where he believes Friendly's henchmen want to talk Joey out of testifying to the Waterfront Crime Commission. When they instead murder Joey by throwing him off the roof, Terry is upset and confronts Friendly, but is threatened and bribed into acquiescence. Depending on their jobs and fearing Friendly's ruthlessness, the other dock workers likewise play deaf and dumb. The film is widely considered to be Elia Kazan's answer to those who criticized him for identifying 8 communists in the film industry before the House Committee on Un-American Activities (HUAC) in 1952. One of Kazan's critics was his friend and collaborator, the noted playwright Arthur Miller, who had earlier written the first version of the script, originally titled The Hook. Kazan had agreed to direct it. Kazan asked Miller to rewrite the script. Miller declined due to his disenchantment with Kazan's friendly testimony before the HUAC. Kazan then replaced Miller with Bud Schoolberg. Cobb's character of Johnny Friendly was partly modeled on Johnny Dio, a real-life mobster known for involvement in labor racketeering. Joey's sister Eddie, played by Eva Mary Saint in her debut, shames the local priest Father Berry, played by Karl Malden, into calling the dock workers to a meeting, where he tries unsuccessfully to persuade them to stand together. Terry attends as a snitch for Friendly, but when the meeting is violently broken up by Friendly's men, he helps Eddie escape, missing how Father Berry convinces one wounded worker to testify. Friendly and Charlie get angry at Terry for getting involved with Eddie and not informing them of the testimony, dropping their usual joviality. The next day, the worker who testified is killed in a staged workplace accident. Father Berry makes an impassioned speech, comparing the murders to Christ's crucifixion. Like the other workers, Terry is still unwilling to testify, but his guilt and regret grow along with his feelings for Eddie as he sees her relentless pursuit of justice. He confesses his role in Joey's death to Father Berry and later to Eddie, who runs away horrified. Eva makes a perfect foil for Brando, and the two actors have a famous scene in a bar where he reveals, almost indirectly, that he likes her, and she turns the conversation from romance to conscience. Brando's performance is regarded as one of the watershed moments in the history of cinema. Through his portrayal of Terry Malloy, Brando popularized method acting and conclusively exemplified the power of Stanislavski-based approach in cinema. Praising Brando in 2004, director Martin Scorsese noted, "Everything that we know about the power of great screen acting relates back to him. When you watch his work in On the Waterfront, you are watching the purest poetry imaginable in dynamic motion." Al Pacino, recounting his own memories on first seeing On the Waterfront, told Playboy in a 1979 interview that he concentrated more on the lead actor than the film itself. "I couldn't move. I couldn't leave the theater. I would never seen the like of it." Anthony Hopkins said, "When you see Brando in the famous cab scene in On the Waterfront, it's still breathtaking." In a eulogy for Brando, Jack Nicholson described his display, probably the height of any age, and added that you just couldn't take your eyes off the guy. He was spellbinding. To keep Terry quiet, Friendly sends Charlie with a job offer. Knowing Friendly will have Terry killed if he refuses, Charlie tries his best to pursue his brother, eventually even threatening him with a gun. Terry gently waves away and expresses regret about throwing his best fight, blaming Charlie for setting up the fix. Charlie gives Terry the gun and tells him to run. In this scene in a taxi, Brando's contender speech is so famous, it's hard to take your eyes off. You feel the reality of the sadness between the two men and the simple words that express it. Kazan said, "What was extraordinary about his performance, I feel, is the contrast of the tough guy front and the extreme delicacy and gentle cast of his behavior. What other actor, when his brother draws a pistol to force him to do something shameful, would put his hand on the gun and push it away with the gentleness of a caress? Who else could read 'Oh Charlie' in a tone of reproach that is so loving and so melancholy and suggests the terrific depth of pain? Terry seeks out Eddie, who initially refuses to let him in. When they eventually kiss after a short struggle, Terry's name is called from the street and the two run out. After nearly being run down by a truck, Eddie and Terry find Charlie's body hung on a hook in the alley. Terry goes to a bar intending to shoot Friendly, but is stopped by Father Berry, who persuaded him to instead testify in court. This cruel retribution cancels out the brothers' mutual betrayals and turns Terry's informing into an act of private revenge as much as of civic duty. Following Terry's testimony to the commission, Friendly is cut off from his powerful friends while facing indictment. Friendly bars Terry from any union jobs, refusing to leave the city with Eddie. In the morning, Terry appears on the waterfront in the court which belonged to Joey and Dugan, where workers are chosen from the assembled longshoremen. Everyone is called to work except Terry, who taunts Friendly outside the nearby shack, shouting that he is proud of testifying. An unprecedented 12 Academy Award nominations and voted the film 8 Oscars. Elia Kazan won a Best Director, Marlon Brando as Best Actor, and Eva Marie Saint as Best Supporting Actress. Bud Schoolberg took the award for his story and screenplay, and additional Oscars were claimed for cinematography, art direction, and editing. Art director Richard Day created the atmosphere of the docks and their working class urban neighborhoods with evocative realism. Boris Koopman photographed these settings in a stark black and white deep focus cinematography. Editor Gene Milford shaped a classic mix of close-ups and long shots. Friendly goads Terry into attacking and getting bitten until he calls for help from his thugs, who stop just shy of killing Terry. This time, the longshoremen refuse to work unless Terry is allowed to work as well, and Joey's father pushes Friendly into the river when he tries to bully the men. Father Berry tells a badly injured Terry that he lost the battle but has a chance to win the war if he can walk into the warehouse. Father Berry and Eddie get him on his feet, and Terry stumbles up the gangway to stand before the warehouse, where the boss nods to Terry and tells them to get to work. The men follow Terry inside, ignoring Friendly as he lashes out with empty threats and his fists. The door closes behind them, leaving Friendly out in the cold. The Indian film Gulam 1998 is inspired by On the Waterfront. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and share this video, do subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the bell icon.